Hello, Gogo Mongolia is reporting live from the State Palace on the second day of Mongolia Economic Forum 2016. I'm here with Mr. B.Munkhdul, founder and CEO of Cover Mongolia. Yes, thank you very much for taking the time to give us an interview.
My pleasure.
Let's start our conversation with the foreign investors. How do you see the foreign investors acknowledging the policy of Mongolian government?
Well, I think foreign investors are pretty happy with the legal framework that Mongolia has right now. It's gone through a lot of changes, mostly for the positive side, positive trend. But it seems that they're mostly waiting for how the Mongolian economy is going to fare this year and how the upcoming elections will factor into the investment environment in Mongolia. As for the economic side, I think they're waiting for the right time to come in, meaning that they're trying to figure out when the bottom is going to be. Most analysts are, all of the analysts are saying that this year will be the worst, the bottom, and it will start to get better from next year. But the recent economic forecast that came out of Asian Development Bank in their annual Asian Development Outlook just yesterday lowered the forecasts for this year and next from 2.3% to 0.1%, so almost zero, and next year's forecast to 0.5% growth. So it looks like things will get better next year, but it's not going to get as better as we hoped for or that they had previously forecasted. It's probably all down to the outlook for commodities prices and our major exports, copper, coal. I think coal, for most importantly, will be still distressed and probably even get worse. Copper is expected to be next year to not fare very well, but every analyst expects copper prices to pick up from 19 or 20 around that time. So it looks like we'll have some difficult economic times in the next 2-3 years. And the difficult thing for Mongolia is that in those 2 years we'll have to pay our major foreign debts.
Yes, starting from 2017.
17, we have the 580 Development Bank bonds, and January 2018 we have the 500 million Chinggis bonds. So in these times, looks like the economy is not going to help Mongolia. So it becomes more important for our leaders and the upcoming government to be better prepared to face those payment schedules.
Yeah, I agree. And the government should align their policy with the economy.
Right.
Just so right. And I talked with some economists and analysts. They're saying that Mongolia should focus on the long-term commitments.
Right.
And the price of raw materials in international market doesn't seem very favorable to us. And how do you think we can attract more investors and besides aligning the policy to the business and economy?
Well, I mean, it's everybody. Every investor wants, number one, stability. It's been said at every occasion possible, but the problem is when the government, the lawmakers do their job, and especially when the elections are coming up, you see. Not as much as the last election, but all of the political parties are aligning their agendas and their election platform more towards giving welfare to much more welfare or cheaper apartments, and that's not all in line with how prudent financial and fiscal policy should be. And the danger is, as the election gets closer, every political party starts promising these kind of things. I mean, social welfare has transitioned from giving out cash to apartments or cheaper loans, but these are all and those are again not going to help the budget. It's welfare all the same. It's just became more sophisticated type of social welfare. So the next couple of months should be people should pay attention to what they say. But I think the good thing here is in the last parliament session, the state Great Hall passed the long-term development policy document till 2030, and since that policy is now a law, in that law it says that political parties should campaign within those development goals. So that should help a little with how things promises escalate. Looking at our previous elections, they all try to give out more.
Those are 17 Sustainable Development Goals from UN. Right?
Well, our Mongolian development policy till 2030 was, of course, drafted within the UN Sustainable Development Goals. But the fact that it's a law now should make more political parties more mature in what they promise to the people.
Get more engaged. Yeah.
Right.
And we get lots of investment or aids or grants from international organizations. Do you think we are getting enough out of it?
I think there always a problem when these aids and development assistances get wasted. But I think overall, I think they've had a positive impact on our economy, and especially in the hard times, it was those international organizations and our donor countries that saved Mongolia from hunger, and I think that I think the people and the government understands how important they are, and I think. But one thing should also be mentioned is that Mongolia has become a middle-income country according to World Bank standards. So that means that we will no longer see aid donations anymore. It'll be more towards development loans, development assistance types of help, and those are all, of course, soft in the form of soft loans and capacity building assistance. So in that sense, I think we will no longer of course, we'll no longer need those kind of aids anymore. I think we should focus more on how we could fix things ourselves.
How well does our stocks do in other international stock exchanges?
As everybody could imagine, they're all suffering. They're at their historic lows. And some companies are even in defaulting on their debt obligations. There's only a few examples they're doing good, and most of them are all of them are in the copper gold area. Copper prices are still relatively high enough so that funding could be raised for exploration projects, and gold in these times is always a good bet when you want to preserve your assets.
Mm-hmm. Lots of analysts debate that Mongolia should whether focus on mining sector instead of manufacturing. What is your opinion?
I think we should focus on all of them. I think the misunderstanding is that Mongolia is not giving up on its mining industry. I think all they want is that other industries to be there when things go down for commodities. So I think that there's a big misunderstanding even among the Mongolian people as well, that we should move away from mining. But it's inevitable that mining is going to be the only major revenue source for Mongolia for a decade to come at least. We might have some ups and downs there, but mining will be still going to be the major contributor to our economy. So we should focus on moving forward our mining projects, as well as other areas that could fill the gap when when the commodity cycle goes down.
Okay, thank you for your insight. This was Cover Mongolia with Mr. B.Munkhdul, founder and CEO of Cover Mongolia. Thank you.